See some lights coming. Must be him. Well, that's rather rude, blocking off the entrance. How'd you get roped into this? No, I said, how did you get roped into this?
Oh.
She volunteered.
I did not. I got asked.
Yeah, she got asked and she said she'd gladly come.
Oh yeah? Well, the mosquitoes are so thick out here, they'll carry you away.
So right here, I believe. Nope.
My foot just hit that.
We gotta find him.
Who are you looking for? I just walked through it all.
Erwin Buckley.
Buckley. I seen it earlier. Over here.
Over here, maybe?
On the left, the gray one. Right over there, I'm thinking.
Or right here.
Nope, that's a different one. That's Meadows or something?
Yeah, Meadows.
I think Buckley's over here. There he is. Right where I said he'd be.
Okay, so this guy here, Kaylee, would have been a cousin of ours. He was 18 and he went on a hunting trip up at Cocoa Lake and he fell out of the canoe and he drowned. In 1939, I believe it was. Is that what it says on the...
38.
1920 to 1938. Yeah, okay.
See, I was looking for Reed earlier. I didn't know that Buckley was related to us. I got a question for you, kind of off topic. That tree right there, what type of tree is that?
Elm.
There's a nice little birch tree. Now, I don't know, but as soon as I look at that tree, I'm like, it's an elm. Don't know if I'm right or even why I would say that. I have no idea how I knew that that was an elm, but I'm like, that's an elm tree.
Yeah, that's an elm tree.
Maybe the spirits put that thought in my mind. Did you do that, spirits?
How did you know I know all my trees?
As I remember years ago, you were learning them from a book, talking about the trees with Papa.
Yeah, I had to know them for school.
We're going night mode here. As I set up the kettle fountain, we're going to set that on Erwin Buckley's grave. Okay, gonna plug this in right here. Oh no, wait, yes. Plug that in. Okay. Then we got to put some water in it. But before we do that, I got this other phone here. Okay, so we're going to start recording the session as well. And I've rigged this up so that it'll hold a phone right by the fountain. Okay, so we're going to dump this water in. Get her up over the pump. This could be generating voices right now. Hello, ancestors. Hope you come through and answer our questions as clearly as possible. Getting a good echo off of that. Let's run with that. Okay, so aim it. I think this will work. Right there. You can get syllables out of that.
What do you think of all this, Kaylee? Is this crazy? Is this just mumbo jumbo entertainment, or is there something to this?
I haven't decided yet. They haven't said my name.
Come over here.
I know, I'm waiting for them to say your name.
Okay, you know what? We're going to prove it right now. Say her name in this kettle fountain, please. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys this response because, first of all, obviously after doing this for 4 years, I continue to do it. I believe that these spirits will come through and have conversations with us about the people I ask, and sometimes they'll say the things that I ask. I'm scouring through this. I don't hear Kaylee's name anywhere, but I want to show you. So here's where I asked to say Kaylee's name. We're going to prove it right now. Okay, we're going to prove it right now, and then I stop talking. Now look at this. There's one little blip here that doesn't sound like anything, but there's one clear name said right here. This is a name that's been said dozens of times on my channel. It has meaning. If you watch this channel, you know. It's not by coincidence, but it is not Kaylee, but I'll play the name for you right now. Doug. Now, that can't be coincidence. You won't hear it. Okay, you hear these bubbles? That's all making little syllables right now. When you run this through artificial intelligence, it gets rid of that sound of this water running, and all that's left is a voice. I don't know if you ever watched my videos.
I don't think I've watched either.
Can you make Kaylee a believer? So we're here, we want to talk about Erwin, you said his name was?
Erwin Buckley.
Erwin Buckley. Apparently we're related to you, Erwin. You died fairly young. And you died on, you drowned, I guess, on a hunting trip.
Cocoa Lake.
What were you pointing at?
You're probably giving me flashbacks.
Well, that's okay. They tell us the stories. Can you tell us what it was like to drown on Cocoa Lake? Was it a peaceful way to go? I asked, was it a peaceful way to go? I'll show you right here. Peaceful way to go. Okay, and then you hear a little, just, I don't hear any word there. It's like the sound of the kettle fountain kicking on. So the whole space I left them to say something. Something gets said right at the end. Now Gary speaks right here. Gary says, it was cold. It was cold. It was cold. Okay, but right before Gary says it was cold, they answered, said, was it a peaceful way to go? And this is, as you can see, the only thing that gets said in that few seconds I left.
he dies.
It was cold. Any variation you hear in there is when they'll say stuff. That's the words, but we can't hear it. And I just heard a variation. I'm gonna add a little water to this. You killed it.
Actually, that sounds better.
Erwin, since you were related to us, when you're in spirit form, do you watch over your descendants?
The keys. Now, you may recall a few answers back, it said something about go to your pocket, which didn't make any sense to me as I'm sitting here editing. I just thought, whatever, because I thought in my mind, as soon as I said go to your pockets, I thought, what was in my pocket? So I'm picturing I was wearing my black leather jacket that night, and there was nothing in my pocket, so I'm like, I don't know what that meant. So I just put it in for you guys, and I kept going. Now, it's saying the keys, which, boom, right away I thought, wait a minute, I did have something in my pocket, but it was in my pants pocket, the keys to the car. So I don't know what this means or why they would even be mentioning my pockets and the keys that were in there, if that's even that. Let me just go get my car keys, which are up in the other room hanging on a peg right now, and see if there's anything written on them or anything. It's a weird thought, I know, but bear with me. Okay, so here's my keys. Maybe I'll make this screen bigger. Okay, so it's a Buick Encore, I guess. I've had some of these keys on here for 25 years. I wonder if they say anything of importance, some of these. Like this little key, there's a little tiny key. I have no idea. This has been on here for 25 years. I don't remember what that key is for, honest to God. I just want to see if any of them say anything. So a couple of, I know there's house keys for my parents here, both houses. I got this little bear, little picture of a bear that I bought 20 some years ago when we were down in Canada's Wonderland. What's this say? Oh, it says master. Okay, so this is just a lock for the boat or something like that. A couple of other smaller keys. One says garrison, fortress. We got Weister, Wiser. And then there's some numbers on some of them. So I don't really know why they would be interested in my keys. I thought maybe if I pulled them up and if one of them said Buckley or something, right? Because his name was Erwin Buckley. That would have been interesting. But, wait, you know what just caught my eyes? I flipped this around on a little tiny key. That's weird. It says 1814. It's almost faded to a point. You can barely see it, but it just caught the light. I don't know. Let's press on and see if we can make heads or tails of this.
Did you hear that? The splash? I did want to ask about Private David Allen, right next door here to this grave. Can you come through, Private David Allen? I just heard a man's voice with my own ear. Listen. You hear him talking? That Vets Club over on Allen's Road, is that in memoriam to you, or was that built because of you? Kaylee has no idea because her ear is not trained. She has no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, show and tell time. I want to show you how this works. I know I've showed you many times, but remember, I'm not always putting on the screen everything that's said because I can't always make things out. So this is the very next question, and it just happens to be a lot of information in here that I want to show you. So check this out. Here's the question or the statement that I made. Kaylee has no idea because her ear is not trained. She has no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, she has no idea what I'm talking about. Remember the last message that we just got was vets don't talk. Or it's difficult, vets don't talk, right? So as I listen to this, I come along, these are the two tracks. We got the camera and we got the phone that was sitting right beside the kettle fountain. So I take this whole space I've left them to talk, and you can actually see a few little bubbles in there. Those are words right there. And you can see it's louder for some reason. I don't know why. But I take this whole space I've left them, which happens to be 6 seconds. I highlight the thing and I tell it to amplify. So effect, amplify. Okay, so bam, when I saw this I said, wow, there's actually a lot of talking in there that you couldn't really discern before I blew it up. Now I hear a few things in here, but I hear something very clear right here in the beginning. So remember, the last thing he said in the last question was, it's difficult, vets don't like to talk. Then the very first thing that comes out on this one, it says something that I can make out. Actually, I'm cutting the word off. I can hear it right in here. Okay, so I want to talk. Now this section in the middle, it's fuzzy. It's not very clear. I'll play it for you. It might be something about like telling the group. Like I definitely hear the word group right here. Okay, and then this loud section, again, I don't know why it got louder here all of a sudden. And I don't even know what this says, but let's have a listen and see if we can figure it out. He has to put it down something. Okay, so I hear he has to put it down, and then I can't make this. This part's not clicking for me. So then what I do is I just listen to this part. Maybe all right. So does it make sense if I listen to the whole thing? He has to put it down. All right. I don't think I'm getting that last part right. But you see my whole process and why this takes me hours and hours. That's one little response, and I've got to break it down into 3 sections that I hear, which is I want to talk, telling the group, and he has to put it down. I understand, like, so again, we get the gist of Private Allen obviously wanted to talk to us. He said, I want to talk. So that's the most important takeaway for me. I got it. Before I moved on, I'm like, wait a minute, let me listen to it once more. Thinking in the context of he has to, or he wants to talk, okay? He has to put down, and I'm like, and then it came to me before I even listened to it. I'm like, wait, would he put it down in a journal or a diary? This is what I said in my mind, and I'm like, I'm going to listen to this again. Oh, wow. I just got a huge shiver on my neck, and I haven't had, I know I say this every video, but I haven't had shivers for a long, like days now. It's been at least a week. I think they just told me that, yeah, I got it right. I've got these like goosebumps down my arms that are not going away here. Yeah, so I said in my mind, would it say journal or diary? And then I listened to it again. I swear it says diary. He has to put it down in his diary. That's exactly what it is. He has to put it down in his diary. It's a little spaced out a little bit, the word diary, but that's what it is. There you go. I think that's what it says. Do you want to ask the spirits anything, Kaylee? And I'll analyze it, whatever you want to ask them. Just ask loud and clear.
I wouldn't know what to ask it.
I don't know. I asked them just whatever enters my mind, whatever interests me. Well, you asked earlier about that new grave over there from 2020. She asked if the body was stacked on top of the other body. Is that true? And I asked when I was sitting in the car earlier, there's some tombstones here where the husbands have died and the wives have not. I'm assuming the wives are going to be buried here. But I don't think a lot of people get buried out in this cemetery anymore. Do you spirits find this a peaceful, sort of a relaxing place? So Erwin, can you tell us about your duck hunting trip? Can you imagine if that's actually the case? Now we're talking like 90 years ago. So A, there'd be no way to prove this. I'm not even saying it would be, I wouldn't even want to try and go after somebody based on some scratchy words, but I am putting what I hear on the screen. I truly believe I'm there in the graveyard, I'm talking to these spirits, I believe they're coming through. This does not sound like water dripping into a bowl or into a kettle fountain, right? These are words, and I clearly hear it ain't no accident. So what happened 90 years ago, I don't know, but this is news to me, and that's crazy. Had this been 5 or 10 years after his murder, I'd be watching my back, because I think we just figured out something that's actual truth here. Because why would this voice come through and say it ain't no accident? Which means what? It was murder? Crazy claim, I know, but still, the voice was clear. It ain't no accident. If you had to do it over again, would you do it differently? Have you come back to Earth and lived another life since you were Erwin Buckley? Where did you go when you died? Now, also behind us, we have the Dailies over there, which were Grandma Marion's aunt and uncle. What was it, John and Sarah? Are you still together on the other side? Have you periodically checked in on me and Gary throughout our lives, seeing as we're related? John and Sarah, can you say her name? There's a big one. Did you see that on the screen? I saw that. Yeah, look at. I guess they're probably just big mosquitoes. Are those mosquitoes flying in front of the camera? Have you guys said anything in the truck on Gary's Hack Shack since we've been out here? Alright, well I just wanted to do a quick 10-minute session. We're almost at 10 minutes. I'm going to close my eyes, and what I do, Kaylee, is I imagine some light from my favorite place, like Papa and Grandma's or something like that, and good memories. I draw it into my mind, and then I shoot it out to all the friendly spirits as light, okay? So if you want to partake, you can do that. I'm going to do that right now. I shouldn't be surprised by this, but I knew they were going to say the word light. Okay, so that was on the Panasonic camera sitting on Erwin's grave. When I listen to the phone that was at the kettle fountain, it's even clearer, and they say the word light 2 times. It's almost like one guy's asking a question and then the other guy answers them. This is so clear. Listen to this. So love, peace, joy, and adventure to you, spirits. Before you go, I'll just quickly ask, do you have a quick message for anyone? If so, leave us a name and a message. All right, thanks for hanging out, spirits. We'll talk to you again in the near future when I ring the ancestors bell over at the farm. Final word to you, Kaylee. Nothing? You got nothing?
No.
All right. See you later, spirits. So that's it. That's all for that graveyard session, which was pretty cool, and I enjoyed doing it. And as I talked to Gary the other day, after the fact, he said the same thing that Robin and I said when we were in Jim's graveyard. We didn't feel any creepiness in these graveyards. I feel like it's a great place to go talk to them, get some shivers on my shoulders. Like it's like a good way to open up a communication, even to people I don't know, if they want to come through and go, hey, what's this guy doing? But I want to reiterate a point I've mentioned many times over my 450 some sessions of doing this, and that is we could take this entire session, this water session that I just did at the graveyard, and we could throw out 80% of it. I don't care. It's garbled, it's tinny, it's not great with the kettle fountain. You know, I take my best guess at what I'm hearing. I know they're saying something. There are definite syllables there. However, there are some sentences in there that should make anybody who's watching this go, wow, what the heck did he just record? Again, when they start talking about the light, when I send out light, to me that's just like a boom. You know, every time I send out that light, they mention the word light or we want it. It's crazy. Okay, then you got the last statement that was just made about it works through the battery, as I'm using a big battery pack. I mean, throw out 80% of it and it should still make you go, Grant's onto something here. He's recording something that makes sense. Because if I record 1,000 hours and I get one sentence that makes sense to me, that's not an anomaly to me, that's a breakthrough. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Love, peace, joy, and adventure to you. We'll catch you in the next one.